This is the story of the American dream, told by a man who's lived it, those who fear for it, and 3 women on a journey to rediscover it.
Sometimes I look across the water and I remember where my journey started. The drums of war were beating ever louder in my city of Piraeus. The Nazis had surrounded us, how evil they were, how difficult it was to survive. My poor mother, my father fighting in the hills. Still, we made it across the waters. It was difficult, without question. But yet I think about how lucky I really was. From war, starvation, death and destruction, we persevered, but not without the help of America.
America, one of the many things that makes her an exceptional nation is that anybody can come here and make their dreams real. In fact, the American dream is one of, I would say, an entrepreneur's dream. But the problem, of course, is that in America today, we're seeing that entrepreneurial instinct either A, completely driven out of people, where people are being taught that they need to be dependent upon government, or at the same time, massive impediments being thrown up in the nanny state.
The definition of reward would be reward. You are remunerated for doing something. Now we want it for free, we want it for nothing. We've set up a society where you're a sucker if you work for it because it's handed out so freely so often that no one understands that with work and risk and effort come reward.
A passive society, a society that expects everything is going to be given to them, that they have an expectation that will be met. Maybe everything becomes a right and everything becomes something that they're entitled to. That's not a culture that can sustain freedom for long.
You cannot have a society based on failure rather than success, highlighting sloth and demonizing effort and achievement, and continue to have a society. It's over.
For nearly its entire existence, mankind has endured hardship and suffering, simply trying to feed itself. But in today's America, diet books are bestsellers, smartphones are a birthright, the most famous citizens are entertainers, and the number of obese Americans nearly doubles the number living beneath the poverty line. Our lives are more removed from difficulty and consequence than any society in the history of the world. Our comfort tempts us into complacency, and if we succumb to it, we will destroy the self-sufficient culture that has sustained American freedom forever. It's beneath this backdrop that Christy Titus invited 2 women, Jessie and Faith, to strap on 45-pound packs and carry everything they need to survive for 4 days across 25 miles of mountainous terrain. 3 backcountry experts, Kaylin, Cody, and Luke, will teach them the skills they need to finish their journey, but the women will be on their own to prove they can make it in the wild.
All right, we're just gonna go over some basic hiking techniques, pack adjustments, foot care, just the basic stuff on the trail that you need to watch out for. So right off the bat, when you're hiking a lot, just always keep adjusting that pack.
So the hike is gonna be pretty strenuous. We're gonna be looking at some high miles days with a lot of elevation gain. And for somebody that's not used to carrying a backpack on their back with, 35, 40 pounds, it's going to be pretty challenging in and of itself.
Careful, careful, careful. 25 miles, it's going to be 90 degrees. It's going to put stress on anybody, so they're going to feel the stress.
We had to squeeze it out today again, but it was clear, I guess.
One of the things that you can do, and it sounds totally weird, but you take a needle and put a piece of thread on it, and you basically thread the piece of thread through there, and then you just leave it alone, and if it seals and fills up, you can move the string and train it out of there.
I think their biggest challenge, aside from the physical aspect of things, is probably going to be the navigation piece.
We were headed north, or the mountaintop was north, so.
Navigation is pretty complicated to somebody that is not familiar with it.
Is that right? You're not going to tell me?
Not really, but.
And I think mainly it's probably just going to be a mental challenge all around. They're going to be required to problem solve along the way, use their brains. They're not just going to be able to put their head down and stare at the trail and put one foot in front of the other. We're going to make them think, and we're going to make them use their heads.
When Ben Franklin walked out of the Constitutional Convention, he was asked by a woman, what kind of government, a monarchy or a republic? And he said, a republic, if you can keep it. And it takes a lot of work to keep it, and we've been doing a lot of work against the grain to destroy it. I don't see America, as envisioned by the founders, being able to survive too much longer of this complete collapse of the superstructure, which is the ordinary American doing the right thing for themselves and their families, which is, as an extension, doing what's right for the country.
The ultimate symbol of American self-sufficiency and personal responsibility is the firearm. So in addition to their adventure in the backcountry, Kaylin trained Christy, Faith, and Jesse on both handguns and rifles. By the end of their journey, they will go from novice level to being confident and capable with both.
First thing we're going to do this morning is shoot a pistol inventory exam. What I want you to do is just focus on the fundamentals, sight alignment, trigger control, try to put all those bullets through the same hole. We're going to start you off doing what we call just a little dot drill. What we would be ideally looking for at 5 yards is a group that's about the size of a silver dollar. Then we're going to move back to 10 yards, and we're going to pick up the pace a little bit, test your ability to be accurate while we speed it up a little bit. So this is all trigger control right here. And then we're going to go back to the 25-meter line, where that's a pure test of accuracy with the pistol.
I'm jumping so bad.
So we have tons of room for improvement here. Let's work on some fundamental stuff.
Okay.
Get this trigger control issue and anticipation cleaned up. This is a real common place for people to group. All this stuff is going to be cleaned up when we work on your fundamentals.
Well, I don't have much experience being in the outdoors and hiking for multiple days. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 3, so my daily life really isn't outdoors.
I'm most looking forward to kind of gaining a certain independence. Single woman, I want to have these skills and be able to, build upon them when I get home.
It's really important that Americans unite right now and continue our time-honored traditions. And I'm really hoping that we can inspire the country to really reevaluate where they're at in life, how they're raising their children, the values and the ethics as far as work, all of these things. I'm hoping that we pass on that tradition before we lose it. And I know that these 2 women will go home and invigorate the women in their community to do the same. And hopefully, everybody has the desire to learn some new skills, because it's going to translate into a stronger country.
So navigating with a map and a compass is one of those skills it's a lost art. Not very many people do it anymore. And the reason for that is we've become a really technologically focused society. Matter of fact, I've ran into several people on the Pacific Crest Trail in the backcountry here in Washington State, and they're trying to navigate with an iPhone. And they're chasing a signal around, and they're trying to, figure out where they're at, and it's not working for them. And when you ask them, where's your map and your compass, they kind of look at you like you're crazy. That is a really bad situation to be in, because technology will fail. It will always fail. And if that's your sole source of information for navigation, you're in a lot of trouble, especially if you're in an area that you're unfamiliar in. This is all new to you. However, I have the utmost confidence that in these 4 days, you're gonna be able to have confidence to navigate from point A to point B on your own with the map and compass. And when you get to that point, you're gonna see that it's incredibly gratifying, and when you get to that destination, it's gonna be a real large accomplishment, and it's gonna be a huge confidence builder for you. So I'm really excited to see you progress over the next 4 days.
Coming up on I Am Forever.
Looking under the bubble is much easier, and I get like 341.
341. Okay, we'll call it 340 because I'm not good at math.
340?
So 340, okay.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm so lost right now.
That's not easy.
All right, Christy, you've got some experience shooting. I know you can shoot accurately. We want to work on your speed. We got 50 seconds on the clock. Remember, sight alignment, sight picture, trigger control, and follow through. 10 rounds, 40 seconds. Bottom bullseye, 10 rounds, 30 seconds. 25 yards. This is the leveler, okay? This is where the rubber meets the road.
I knew I threw those two as soon as I pressed those off.
You're right, and you're calling your shots, and that's a big portion of this, and knowing when you do make a mistake and knowing why you made the mistake. These two, we can fix those. Let's go do some training.
We like things to become easier, and technology is allowing us to have an easier life, but we lose something. We lose our ability to do things. My wife and I actually experienced this. This is one of the reasons why we moved to a farm, so that we could push ourselves. We wanted to know how to grow our own food. We wanted to know how to process our own animals. But these are things that Americans used to be able to do. And yeah, it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but it's also worth it to push yourself and to discover what you're capable of. It's not something that you'll find out when you're playing a video game on the couch.
Okay, so the next navigation class that we're going to talk about is how to locate yourself in the event that you're disoriented. Best thing that you can do in that situation is to stop and use the tools that you have, which is your map and compass, to precisely locate where you're at. Because the more you continue to wander and the more you continue to try to convince yourself you are where you think you are, when you're really not there, that's how people get really, really lost. Okay, so we're gonna use this area, this massive ridge out here, okay? A resection is basically using your compass to shoot magnetic azimuths to 2 known points that you can identify on your map. Try to get them as far apart as you can. You want to get more than 30 degrees is ideal. And then you're going to plot those locations on the map and convert them to back azimuths. And then once you convert them to back azimuths, we'll plot them on the map, and where they intersect is where you are. You guys ran the compass course yesterday, so you understand and you have confidence that where that bearing is taking you is where you're going to go if you follow it. So you have confidence in your ability to read your compass, and you have confidence that if you follow the compass bearing properly, it's going to take you where you need to go. So this little exercise is going to take it to the next level, and it's going to help you find out where you're at.
All right, the first thing that you're going to do is look out there and find a dominant terrain feature.
So basically what you're doing is interpreting the terrain features that you see in front of you and visualizing those on the map.
Well, that whole ridgetop, I would say, is probably a pretty dominant terrain feature.
All right, so that's one major terrain feature, right?
So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually shoot an azimuth to, you want to use that point right there, the highest point on that ridge line?
Yeah.
And so what you're going to do is we're going to shoot an azimuth to that point, convert it to a back azimuth, and plot it on the map. And where that line intersects, that's going to tell us exactly where we are.
Looking under the bubble is much easier, and I get like 341.
341. Okay, we'll call it 340 because I'm not good at math.
340?
So 340, okay.
So I take 340 minus 180?
Yep.
So now we need to do what we call a back azimuth. And so for every azimuth, there's always going to be a reverse azimuth because we're in a circle.
So you're going to take your compass and you're going to put the edge of it on that one point. We're going to rotate this until it says 174. So basically you're going to draw a line from that point that we think we know and follow it down this way.
Well, I've never done anything like this before, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm so lost right now.
That's not easy.
Very limited use of mapping in my whole life. Primarily, it's just been off of GPS and makes things so simple.
Yeah, I realized for me that at this point I would probably still be lost. I definitely need a little bit more work with just identifying the terrain features and looking at the map. I need to do a little bit more work.
You're right where you should be with the level of experience that you have with map and compass. Okay, so don't worry about it.
Okay, we'll get
You're
there.
doing just fine.
For me, kind of just learning the process of doing the back azimuth and remember that I'm not forgetting any steps or anything, because I'm gonna see myself questioning, did I do it right? Did I not forget something? And am I actually where I say that I am, I guess.
And that's why we do the resections. Because like I said before, the worst thing that you can do is convince yourself that you are someplace that you're really not. Because that's just, that's a snowball effect for disaster. All right, well, let's step off down the trail.
Ready or not, starting tomorrow, the women will have to navigate cross-country on their own. They've been taught the skills they need. Now, they must prove they can use them.
I talk about opportunities as often as I can. Opportunities do abound in America, still, no matter what people think. They will present themselves to you. Grasp them, go with them, and you might fail. You must know that everybody fails. No matter what you do, the tears will come. The opportunity might turn into a nightmare. Everybody fails. You know, it is an amazing thing if you look at history and every great man or woman that has produced a product that has made life better for all of us. There were a lot of failures involved. They picked themselves up, dusted themselves off, and kept on trying. Don't be afraid to grasp an opportunity. Fail sometimes, get up. Try again. Succeed. This is America. You have the right to try again.